A long time ago, in the bustling port city of Athens, there was a ship. Not just any ship, but the grand ship of the legendary hero Theseus. After he returned from slaying the Minotaur in Crete, the Athenians decided to preserve the vessel as a symbol of their victory, their pride, and their legacy. They kept it in the harbor, maintained it carefully, and replaced parts as they decayed. A plank here, a mast there, a sail or a beam. Bit by bit, over the decades and centuries, every part of the original ship was eventually replaced. But here's where the story takes a strange turn. One day, a philosopher walking along the harbor stopped and looked at the majestic vessel and asked, almost absent-mindedly, "Is this still the same ship that Theseus sailed?" That single question sparked a debate that would ripple through the minds of thinkers for thousands of years. A simple ship, a few planks swapped out over time, and yet, suddenly, it became the centerpiece of one of the greatest philosophical puzzles in history. Imagine it like this. You have your favorite childhood toy, a wooden train, say. Over time, one of the wheels falls off. You replace it. Then the chimney snaps, you fix that too. Eventually, you repaint it, swap the whole carriage. After a few years, every part has been changed. Now ask yourself, is it still your childhood train? This is the Ship of Theseus paradox. And it dives deep into what it means for something to remain the same over time. Is it the physical stuff it's made of that matters? Or is it the identity, the pattern, the design, the continuity? But let's not stop there. Let's imagine something wilder. Suppose every single old part from Theseus's original ship, the ones replaced one by one, were stored in a warehouse. And eventually, someone clever decided to rebuild the ship from all those discarded original parts. Now we have two ships, the one that's been continuously maintained in the harbor, and the one rebuilt from all the original components. Which one is the real Ship of Theseus? This isn't just some ancient curiosity or a mental game. This dilemma touches our daily lives more than we realize. Think about your body. Scientists say that almost every cell in your body regenerates over time. In a span of around 7 to 10 years, nearly every single atom and molecule has been replaced. So, are you still the same person you were a decade ago? The Ship of Theseus forces us to wrestle with this. Are you the sum of your physical parts? Or is your identity something more abstract, your memories, your consciousness, your story? Let's step back for a moment and consider a modern version of this. Imagine you have a computer. Over time, you upgrade its RAM, you replace the hard drive, swap out the motherboard, eventually even the casing. You've replaced every part. Is it still the same computer? And what if you take all the old parts you removed, put them back together in a different room, and it boots up? Which is the original computer now? This question isn't just about objects. It's about people, organizations, relationships, and even countries. Take a company, for example. The founders leave. New employees come in. The office changes. The product evolves. After 20 years, there's nothing original left, yet it still operates under the same name. Is it still the same company? When you think about it, the Ship of Theseus is everywhere. In friendships that evolve. In the way we change as people. In how we view history and tradition. One man who took this puzzle very seriously was the English philosopher Thomas Hobbes. He posed a troubling extension of the problem. What if you rebuilt the ship from the original parts, while the maintained one still floated in the harbor? Now you'd have two ships of Theseus. Which one holds the identity? Can both be the original? Or neither? Hobbes believed identity was tied to continuity, but even that has limits. He argued that without some form of original connection, continuity breaks, and a copy, no matter how perfect, is not the same. But now let's turn to a more human layer. Think about memory. You are not the same child you once were. Your body has changed. Your voice, your habits, your ideas. But your memories string your life together like a thread through time. Does that mean your identity lies in memory? Yet memories fade. They warp. Sometimes they're false. So can something so fragile really be the anchor of identity? There's a curious study in neuroscience where patients who've had memory loss or severe amnesia still feel like themselves. They may not recall their childhood or even recognize their reflection, but they feel like me. Something deep inside, an unshakable core of identity, remains. So perhaps identity is less about parts or even memory, and more about a sense of self. A narrative we construct and carry. That's what the Ship of Theseus might really be about. Not the wood, not the nails, but the story. The idea of the ship. Now imagine if someone were to take apart your life and examine each part, your job, your family, your beliefs, your dreams. Strip them all away one by one. If all of it changed over time, piece by piece, would you still be you? What if someone took all your discarded parts, your old goals, your past habits, your childhood dreams, and built a version of you from those fragments? Would that be more you than who you are today? Here's another twist. What if the parts replaced weren't just physical or mental, but emotional? The way you love, the way you hope, the way you fear? Can you replace those too? And if you do, are you reborn, or are you someone else entirely? Science fiction loves this paradox. In the TV show Westworld, humanoid robots are constantly repaired and reset. Their memories are wiped, parts swapped. But sometimes, a flicker of an old memory remains, a ghost of who they once were. Are they the same entity? Or a new one entirely? In another story, a man slowly replaces his body with cybernetic parts. First a hand, then an arm, then legs, then internal organs. Eventually, even his brain is transferred to a machine. But somewhere along the way, he wonders, did his soul survive the upgrades? The Ship of Theseus becomes a lens to view everything. What is real? What matters more, the thing itself or the idea of the thing? And maybe, that's what makes this old wooden ship so profound. Not that it was famous or ancient or even real, but that it made us stop and think. It made us question identity. It made us realize that the world isn't always what it seems, and that sometimes, what changes the most slowly, changes the most deeply. So next time you walk into your old school, or pick up a childhood photograph, or hear your voice on a recording and barely recognize it, ask yourself, is this still the same me? And in that question, you'll find the Ship of Theseus, still sailing, quietly, invisibly, through the ocean of your mind. If you found this helpful, hit that like button, subscribe for more amazing content.